Yes, just one moment.
Please give this team your attention so you can hear now and so they will be able to hear you when it's your time to be up.
Thanks, Bob. I was saying that's my table over there, and my name is Jean, and we kept hearing the word trees around the table. We're talking about the vision. Other parts of the vision were rebuilding single-family homes in the neighborhood. Our table folks are primarily from East Forest Park. There was a lot of interest in expanding the Nathanville Park, perhaps with more fields and more parking. Rebuilding the schools that were destroyed seemed to go without saying, but important to get that out there. And we talk more about when the schools are rebuilt, we'd like to have that with a better traffic flow so that all the transportation revolving around schools could work much better for local schools and the people living in the neighborhoods, deliveries that have to be made. Some traffic calming strategies should be incorporated. Just would like to see the neighborhood restored as close as possible to how it was. B was the most important thing the plan could accomplish. Well, someone thought that we could be left alone. Other people would like to see that there were enough trees replanted in the neighborhood. Again, that kept coming up. We like the view, but we really miss the shade and seeing the 4 seasons of the trees. That was really an important characteristic. Another important thing for the timeline to do, for people to feel like they have a really good handle on the timetable. When's the stump removal? When are the sidewalks being fixed? When are the trees being planted? The plan should include open, informative communication through all different types of media, newspapers, civic associations, online meetings, whatever it takes, because a lot of people feel that they don't know what's going on and how they can play a role. What makes the neighborhood unique with a very good neighborhood schools. The neighborhood is heavily residential. There's almost no commercial space, and that Nathanville Park is a unique jewel in the neighborhood. I guess that's it. Thank you.
That was great. As our reporters report back, try and keep it to 1 minute for each question so that we can get through this quickly and respect everyone's time.
Okay. Hi, I'm Judy, and we feel that we have a well-kept, family-owned neighborhood where people can visit and play, and that's really what we want to see. We know that our neighborhood of East Forest Park has a set of core values that include pride of home ownership, strong work ethics, because most of us have, or still do, work for everything we have. We have strong family and moral ethics. We really want to make our homes a beautiful place. Every one of us wants to beautify our home in some way. And we have stability because most of us that have been there are still there, and we're still going to be there. We'd like to get our neighbors to take pride in their yards. There are a few that don't. We'd like to get Cathedral High School back up and running. And what makes our neighborhood unique is that we're a good bunch of people.
I'm David Johns. I'm Vice President of the 16 Acres Civic Association, and the President of the 16 Acres is Concepcion, sitting in back there. To add to what the others have said, one of the things that kept coming up on our table is that things that need to be done right away before the cold weather sets in. There's downed trees, half-down trees, destroyed sidewalks. that need to be cleaned up before they get fixed or replaced. And one of the things that was brought up on the table is that just seeing that being done would give some aid and comfort to the residents to see that something is actually being done. And also, not so much in this section of the city, but there is some concern. But there are a number of buildings that are where people had to leave, apartment buildings that are salvageable. But, and I understand, we all understand that it may take a while for the actual construction to be done to rehabilitate these buildings with insurance and bidding and all that kind of thing. But what needs to be done with these salvageable buildings is that they be buttoned up for the winter, because if they're allowed to be, even though, you know, the last few days hasn't exactly seemed like winter was going to be coming, if these buildings are allowed to just sit and be exposed to the elements for the whole winter, they will not be salvageable and will have to be torn down. And what happens to all these people when they want to move back? And another concern is increase in crime. There's been an increase of, which is a general thing, that concerns that were mainly towards other sections of the city have crept out to this area. Break-ins, home break-ins, a couple of gas stations have been broken into. You know, they live in a house that's intact, but there's properties all around them being destroyed, and their property values are actually less, and if they want to sell their homes, it'd be virtually impossible to do. So those are the kinds of things that were brought up on that table. Thank you.
Because what makes our neighborhood unique is the amount of park and conservation and green that we have in our area. It's one of the beautiful things about East Forest Park. And number one at our table was the restoration of the forest in East Forest Park. Now, while we can't replace the 100-year-old oak trees that came down, there are some opportunities around the Water Shops Pond area and the old South Branch Parkway area and at Naperville that might, with some creativity, could restore it to something even more magnificent than what it was. We are concerned about what we feel is the lack of cleanup that's been done, especially around the Water Shops Pond area. It's actually kind of dangerous down there. I hope, you know, your kids aren't going down there, and I hope you're not trying to walk down there. So our vision is, again, to restore the Forest Park and the conservation area, the rapid restoration of the schools in our neighborhood, both Drive-In Cathedral. And the most important thing that this plan can accomplish is to make our neighborhood, once again, a neighborhood where people want to build houses in, they want to move there, and they want to stay there. I think we all agree that a lot of us have lived there in East Forest Park 20, 30, 40 years. Some of us have family history in this neighborhood, so we'd really like to see that restored. And the last bit would be, for the homeowners who are trying to rebuild, is we need an advocate. We need somebody who's stating our case, somebody who's out in the forefront for us, because in my opinion, the city's in danger of creating an adversarial relationship with those of us who are trying to rebuild, and we are having difficulty dealing with the gas company, the building department, the water and sewer department, and the zoning area. Frankly, a lot of our issues are frankly falling upon deaf ears. So, thank you very much.
Elected by our neat as it is, having a lot of pride in that area. This is a great neighborhood. I was at the Re-Green, put the forest back in East Forest Park event a couple weeks ago, and it's just really great to see all you guys come together and everyone pitch in. And our table really wanted to see that continue throughout this whole plan. And just again, the recreational opportunities in Nathanville that we have here, and making sure that that's accessible to everyone in the neighborhood, because it is a multi-generational neighborhood. You have younger kids up to older adults, and you want to make sure that everyone can do everything that they want to do while they're in their environment. So that was the main one, and then the most important thing that this plan can help accomplish for the neighborhood is stability with the schools, and also to restore the home values. Thanks.
Our table didn't come up with a lot of different things that have already been mentioned, but one of the things that was really important in our group was, to rebuild, to restore, to keep our residents here and attract new ones, and to be more family focused, to create park areas and play areas for the kids and families to really stay here in the neighborhood and make this a really inviting place to live. Also, what was mentioned is to kind of, acknowledge and expand on the diversity in our neighborhoods, from businesses to the people. We have a lot of different people who live here, and we want to keep that all going. So that is we didn't finish, but jobs. Oh, jobs for Springfield residents. Most importantly, jobs for our local residents, and jobs for the young people who want to work and have nowhere to work. So those are all important. They're all important things, but there we go.
In the house that I was born in. I've never moved, so I'm quite familiar with the East Forest Park section of Springfield. And what our vision is to see Cathedral rebuilt. We would like to see the streets repaired, trees replaced. Most importantly to us is Lake Massasoit. To see that, we used to play down in that area, and now it's just a of trees that look like toothpicks. And especially for my neighbors that live on South Branch Parkway, they definitely like to see that part of it. And what makes us unique is our single-family homes that we take pride in outside and our inside, and making us one big family. And thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Foley. I'm from the 16-acre neighborhood. I live on South Branch Parkway, up by Bass Pond. We're hit pretty. I'm representing this table right here, and most of the things I have listed here have already been said, but I'll run through them quickly for you. The vision was maintain core values in single-family homes. I think everybody knows that. Special attention to landscaping along streets and waterways. We'd like to get the trees back, and so we can buy tree streets to make it look like a real neighborhood again. We also wrote down keep Cathedral and Dryden Memorial School, which is important, I believe. We also have to attract people to Springfield and our schools. Make Springfield family friendly. More involvement and input from the neighborhood and religious organizations, more community policing teams. Things that are important, keeping people here, aid homeowners with insurance companies. I know some people have complained that the insurance companies haven't been forthright in coming with the money they need to repair, so I was hoping that this group could help us with helping the insurance, help the people with the insurance companies. Also attract new people and replacing the dead trees and taking out these stumps. And what makes our neighborhood unique is because of the single-family homes and the pride in ownership. So everything that I said was probably repeated, but it's important. Thank you.
One more table.
My name's Loretta. This is our table in East Forest Park. Almost everything that's been said is also coming from our table. I think one of the most important things we talked about was having things available for especially our youngsters, so people will want to move here and stay in the city, and new people will want to come. We have great pride in our ownership of our houses, and that's what makes us unique. And what we'd like most to see is people keep their sense of pride as we get things going, and that it becomes as normal as possible as it was before.
Okay, thank you. Those were great responses. I've been told that no one can hear me, so I'm going to try and tell you everything we're about to do now, and hopefully that'll work better. We have another breakout session similar to the one you just did. So we just talked about what makes your neighborhood unique, what you want to see for the future of your neighborhood, what are some of the important things that the plan can accomplish. And now we want to dive down a little bit more specific. So we want you to help us identify what are some of the specific opportunities in your neighborhood you think are there to achieve all of the things that you just spoke about. What are some of the needs and challenges that are going to need to be overcome to make that vision happen? And are there any specific projects or ideas or policies that you think can help transform some of those opportunities into a reality and actually make them happen? To help in that, we have maps at the table. So if there's a specific spot or site or street or a park that you think needs to be focused on, write on those maps. Those are there for you to draw on, mark up, and at the end we'll be collecting all of the maps and what you've written on your pads and using all of that. So if there's something we need to know, make sure we know it. So we'll do 10 minutes for each question, and I will do my best to give you a guide as to when that 10 minutes